My name is John Nicholson, and this is my wife, Pam.
Hi.
During the next hour, we're going to introduce you to some of the more complex, more complicated movements associated with pony swing. During this hour, we're also going to try and answer some of the more difficult and complex questions that arise through this type of movement and in this part of the dance. We want to spend a little bit of time reviewing some of the points, some of the styling points that we covered in our previous beginner and intermediate tape to make sure that we're all on the same page, that we're talking the same terminology as we run through. There are other instructors that teach pony swing, and I just want to make sure that you are with me when I explain this. Some of the principles that we teach, again, are a little bit different, and we want to make sure that you're with us as we go through. Again, in the pony swing, we want to make sure and emphasize that you're moving. We want to eliminate and reduce the amount of time that one or other partner is standing in place doing a pony step while the other partner turns. Okay, we want to try and avoid stationary. We want to try and continue to have some flow and some movement. One of the keys to making this dance look good is to flow one move right into the next. And so we're going to teach, as we go through, we're going to teach you the moves individually and then trying to give you a couple of options on how to get in and out of those. Again, that you'll see that as we go through this tape. The basic step, again, you have a weighted leg and a drive leg, or you're up on the ball of the foot. During this tape, I'm going to refer to the weighted leg as the beat leg, the bent leg as the drive leg. Okay? We're going to address whether or not to switch feet and how to switch feet as we go through. That's probably one of the biggest questions that there are that we get when we go out and teach pony swing. So again, the things that we want to try and stress, this is what I'm trying to get to, is that you want to have smooth shoulders, you have a weighted leg and a drive leg as you push out, all right, and that your personal space in this particular dance, when you do movements that are in tight, is very close together. And we'll address that as we go through. So, first things first, starting the dance. If you're a basic dancer, you'd come out, start in an open position. As soon as the music starts, you would pull your partner into a movement, preferably something like a lobo or a rap, like this. Something that would get you in close, hip to hip, so that you can make sure that you're on the same beat. Again, on the footwork, we step down with the bass beat of the music and up with the upbeat. So you want to make sure that your partner is on the same beat as you. However, in advanced dancers, they like to start a little different. And this is, again, one of the more popular moves that we get. It's the same movement that we use to move across the floor, to go across the floor. And we call it hip swivels, or a swivel start in the dance. And it's going to look like this. The music starts and we're going to go in and out. Okay, a swivel start, pull, push, and you're off and running. Now, Pam and I had to work on staying in place because we're so used to moving back and forth, or actually to moving down the floor like this. But for now, we're going to teach it in place. In order to do this, you need to know the difference between a pony swing and a 4-count swing, or the variation of that. In the pony swing that we teach, a weighted leg or beat leg and drive leg. Beat leg, drive leg. You push your weight forward, you push your weight back, you push yourself around on a pivot on your weighted leg. For the swivel start, we're modifying that. We're actually kind of stealing part of a 4-count swing, which is forward step, back step, forward step, back step. All right, so a regular pony swing would be here. A 4-count would be in and out, in and out. And that's what the swivels are. The swivels are going to be in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Again, it's in, out, in, out. Now we're moving, you can do it in place. And usually the music will start and this is how we do it. The best way to get into it is this. You're going to step across. Okay, gentlemen, you're going to step across. And when you do, you're going to bring this hand in so that you'll turn the lady's body in. In and out. Okay? In and out, in and out. The key to this is tension in the arms. We keep them down low around our waist, and we're going to push off each other as we go. So I bring in, I step in and across, okay, as I come through. In, out, in, step, out, step, in, step, out, step, in, out. Twist the hips, twist, hips. If you want to do it moving, we'll move towards the camera. Okay, it's going to be in, out, in, out. And I want you to notice this as we step across with what would be our beat leg. We're turning our foot 45-degree angles. This way, that way. This way, that way. Okay? We're going to point it in the direction we want to travel. In, out, there it is. Okay, so that you can actually walk. And you're changing full weight here. Changing full weight. Full weight with each step as you go through. Swivel starts. Take some practice to get used to, but the biggest trick is tension in the arms as you go through. So you swivel start to get out of it. Here's what I like to do. As I step into her, I let my arms collapse. Then I push out, and then I pull her into the next movement so that it would look like this. Okay? In, collapse, push, and you're going. That helps break the momentum that she has, that side-to-side turning. It's hard to spin out of that. So you collapse, push out. Okay, and you're ready to go. Good practice to swivel, to loosen up, and do yourself a favor. Don't wear tennis shoes and do it on a carpet, because your knees will kill you. All right, now we've introduced you to the swivel start, and it's time to move on to our first sequence of moves. We're gonna introduce you to a set that we call pivot turns. We're gonna do a lobo pivot, a wrap pivot, and a follower to leader wrap pivot. The first one, a lobo pivot, and it looks like this. You're gonna go into a lobo on the hips and pivot to change direction. Push out, and if you like, repeat, and push. It may look simple, but it complicates your footwork greatly as we run through, and I'm going to try and break that down for you just a little bit. First things first, you pull into a lobo, make sure that your hands are on the hip, close proximity, side to side. All right, and as you go around, you're going to take the hand that's on your hip, gentlemen, and you're going to push out. At the same time, you're going to release the grip that you have on her hip, and you're going to rotate through and come back onto the hips. What you're going to find is, because of the pony step and the foot that you've chosen to wait, is going to really affect how easy this is. You're going to find one direction is easy, and the other direction is hard. For us, going reverse is hard. So here we go. Again, take your partner into a lobo position. You take the hand that's on the hip, you lift up, take the hand that's on this other hip, okay, and pull in, and you're actually going to pivot around and catch back on the waist. And now you got to do your pony swing backwards. The secret here is keep your feet underneath you, take small steps. Let me show you what the most common error is. As you're going around, if you're pushing out here, see where my pony step is? I'm pushing out here and pivoting on the center. If you're pushing like this as you go around, as soon as you rotate, you got a problem. Okay, now you can't push out as easily because your partner's there. All right, you want to keep your feet underneath you and take small steps as you go around. Generally, most dancers, honestly, will do it this way. They'll come around to this position and immediately roll out. They won't try and hold it because it is awkward. It's awkward for everybody. Again, that's a lobo pivot. The next set is a wrap pivot. It looks like this. Cross chest, hand stays down around the waist, and you've got a free hand. Gentlemen, you're going to drag the lady. You're going to pull her around as you drive forward. All right, with a free hand in front. What you're going to do is take that free hand down on the hip, and you're going to pivot her to the other side so that now she's going forward and I'm going backwards. We pull across, pivot, pull across, pivot, pull across, pivot, and around. This one's a little bit different in that, from the lobo, in that as I come across to here, in order to get back, I have to push her out and pull her around to the other side. There's no quick turn to get back. In other words, from here, it's a quick turn, but there's no quick turn to get back because the momentum's taking you in the wrong direction. Your momentum's taking you around, so you take her across, then you let her out and back around. Pivot, out, and around. To get out, just lift the hand, turn out, and you're done. So we've got a low bow pivot and a wrap pivot, and here's the follower wrap, leader wrap pivot. This one's real popular too. From a wrap, as you go around, you're going to release the hand that's in front and unwind the lady. As she unwinds, I'm going to wind up, and we're going to continue around. So that it would look like this. From a wrap, she unwraps, I wrap, and then she comes around. Catch, back into a wrap. Around, swing her through, out, and back. Okay, in a loop. That one is a little tricky because you have to see what you have to understand where the gentleman's lead is. As we come through here, as I'm moving around in a wrap, this hand, my right hand, is actually pulling her back. That's an exaggeration. Don't get carried away on me. Okay, as I come around. From here, I want to release that pull. I don't want to pull anymore. Okay, I don't want her to go flying off out that way. I want her to be able to stay in place. So, as I come through, I'm just going to pull the hand straight out. Let me do it this way so you can see. As she comes around, I'm going to pull the hand straight out and into me. Then I'm going to turn through it. Okay, gentlemen, the lead on this move is right here. The arm on the back. I want to pull it in nice and tight, and I want her alongside of me. A lot of guys will get into this situation where she's actually behind you, and it just doesn't work this way. You can't get the momentum. You can't get the lead. You have to be alongside. The arm has to be tight across the back, and I'm actually going to lead with my back as I go around. Ladies, you should feel tension on this arm because that's where the guy's leading. I don't need this hand. Okay, all I need to do is lead around. I lean into that hand. She can't even hang on to it. She's got to hook my belt because she'll go flying off the back side. Okay, so as I turn through, I get the arm tight on my back, come around. When I want to get out of it, I just step forward, and she goes flying right around. All right? So our sequence consists of this: a low bow, pivot, and out, a wrap, pivot, and out, and a wrap to a pivot wrap, and out. All right, try that a little bit and get used to it. The footwork, expect the footwork to be a little awkward. It's much easier to drive forward than it is to drive backwards. So give it a try, and we've got some more moves coming up for you in just a second. We just introduced you to a sequence of moves that we refer to as pivot moves. In that, you're having to modify the footwork just a little bit in order to make those work. As we travel around the country, generally the first question out of everyone's mouths when we say that we're going to teach pony is, do you change feet? And it's a very difficult question, and it's not easily illustrated exactly what we're going to do, but we're going to try. We're going to try and address what it is that we do and how we manage not to change our beat leg. And right now I'm going to pull Pam out, and we're going to demonstrate for you the movement that we call a wrap to wrap that most often will illustrate the problem that comes up. You do it in those pivot moves, but here's a better way to illustrate it. From a wrap, if you go forward, and again, this depends on which one is your weighted leg. At this point, my right leg is my weighted leg, and it's on the inside. It's on the inside. So as long as I drive forward and I'm pivoting on my inside leg, then I maintain my full weight on the straight leg or the beat leg. Down beat, down beat. That's where the weight is. So on this particular move, I'm okay. Going this direction. I come around. I'm helping Pam with her footwork because going backwards in pony swing is hard. I'm helping her by dragging through. However, as we come through, I take the free hand up, change directions, and go the other way as I'm traveling around. Now, my weighted leg or my beat leg is on the outside. My bent leg is on the inside. And this is where the problem comes in. This is where people feel like they can't get any drive, and so they change and make the inside leg the beat leg and the outside leg the drive leg. The problem is, in the process, if you're not careful, it can be done and it's certainly okay, but in the process a lot of people lose a beat. And so now they're stepping down on the upbeat and up on the downbeat. So again, the illustration here is that going forward with the weighted leg on the center is comfortable, but when you change, as in a wrap to wrap, which we did right there, now all of a sudden it's not comfortable. Here's what we consider to be the secret or the key to doing that. First of all, keep your feet underneath you. The bigger your stride is, the more you open up, the more difficult it is to stay on the same foot. In other words, if I'm doing this step with Pam and I'm going around and I've got my feet spread like this and I'm driving out here, when I go to change direction, now it just doesn't work. Now you're going to have to go and change around. We take small steps. We stay right underneath us, right here, as you come through. How do we get speed up? Well, we don't get speed by pushing. We get speed by pulling on each other, by dragging around, nice small steps. So that when we change now, our feet are underneath us. And again, gentlemen, I'm dragging with the hand on this side. What actually happens, and again, it's going to take some playing around, but the majority of the weight is on my beat leg. And I step down with the bass beat of the music. But when I go into this position, when I change sides, I'm going to equalize my weight, actually shift some weight over to the upbeat leg. So in other words, as I go through, this is still my downbeat leg. Okay, it's still the same beat, but more of the weight is on the inside. More of the weight is on the inside. And that beat leg actually takes on the role of being a little bit more of a drive leg. The problem, again, comes when you open up your step, and the more open you are out here, it's almost impossible to not change legs. So the secret here is you don't have to change legs if you keep your feet underneath, you stay close together, and you use each other as you pull around, you drive through it, and you shift your weight up on the ball of the foot, up onto the drive leg, and use it a little more as a pivot and drive a little bit more with the beat leg. But still, you're stepping down on the bass beat of the music. Again, let me show you one more time. If we were to do it, okay, we're fine going this way. Then we're going to change in a wrap to a wrap, and forward going the other way. Downbeat, down, 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 down. Take some practice, but again, when you start getting into changing weight, changing feet from going down, 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 you run the risk of losing a half beat or losing a beat as you go through. So either way is okay, but that's one of the most common questions, one of the biggest problems that we run into. Keep your feet underneath you, small steps, don't let it get out here, and you're going to be all right. All right, we're ready to move on with some new sequences, some different sequences perhaps you've never seen before. I did want to mention that at the end of this tape, you will find our name and address and phone number. If you want to reach us here in Phoenix, by all means, give us a call, drop us a line, let us know what you think about the tape. If you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer them over the phone if you like, or maybe we'll catch you out at some dance convention sometime in the next couple of months. Again, let's go ahead and move on. We are going to go ahead and venture into ducks right now. We're going to move into ducks. And in this particular movement, we're going to tie together a cross chest turn to a one-handed behinder to a one-handed duck, or a behinder duck, as we call it. So again, we're going to give the lady a little momentum by doing a cross chest turn, a one-handed behinder, and then we're going to take it into a duck. As with all moves in pony swing, there's a mirror to everything. We talked about this in great detail in the beginner intermediate tape that's also available. This particular sequence we took to the point just prior to the duck. So as we go through, in this case I'm going to use my right hand. I'm going to go cross chest. I'm going to bring the hand down across the body and roll the wrist down. As she comes around, I want to raise my elbow high, which will actually cause her body to lean over a little bit as she comes through. I'm going to get my elbow up high and she's going to turn right underneath. As she comes through, I'm going to relax the arm down and reach across. The point behind teaching this move is to show you that in pony swing, you can do flat back ducks, but you don't always want to do it. There's a lot of momentum and a lot of speed involved here, so I want you to watch the way that Pam does this as she goes through. I'm going to turn her with the other hand. I'm going to turn her with the left hand here. We're going to go cross chest. We're going to roll the wrist down and raise it up. See how when you raise it on her back, that's how you lead it. Down here, you're going to go into a behinder. Up here, you're going to go into a duck. Elbows up high so she doesn't hit it. Look where her head comes through, just underneath my arm as she comes through, and she's looking the direction she's traveling. So that when you go into this turn at a rapid pace, okay, she comes right back up and her balance is a little bit better. You can do a flat back there, there's no problem, but that's another option. That's what we typically do on the majority of our ducks, is just look through. One more time on that behind her duck. Hand, wrist rolls down, elbow goes up for the lead, lady turns right through, let her finish the turn up against your hand, and catch the other hand. From here, there's a real nifty rolling duck going the opposite direction. What's a rolling duck? This is a rolling duck. You roll back under. So essentially what you did is you took the hand that's in front of the gentleman and you roll the wrist across and down. You bring it up behind the back, and when you do, you release the other hand so it straightens out. Get the elbow up nice and high so she knows to duck. Bring the hand up over the top of her head and down. All right, this hand behind the back, gentleman's fingers again straight, ladies using a C shape or a cup. And as I come through, the trick is the gentleman's hand has to be on the bottom. And guys, I'm going to roll this, I'm going to pull with the hand behind the back to show her what direction I want her to go. And I'm going to roll the wrist down so that it will come up on her back. This hand releases. This hand releases as she comes through. This arm straightens up, straight over the top, and down. A rolling behinder, or a rolling duck. So the combination of the two would be a one-handed behinder, or a behinder duck rather, and then a rolling behinder duck to the opposite direction. And then one final part. We're going to tie it all together and give you a nice little sequence here. This next movement is fairly difficult. As we move into it, it's called a half pretzel. As you may recall, there's actually, we taught at least in our beginner class, we taught what's called a follower pretzel, which is a behinder or a hammerlock, if you prefer the name. Behinder, seesaw, behinder, and out. That's a follower pretzel. A leader pretzel is behinder, seesaw, behinder, and out. Oh, let's do it. If you want a really hard move, we won't teach this one on this tape, but if you go cross hand, you can go behinder, seesaw, behinder, and out is called a cross hand pretzel. But anyway, I had to throw that in. But now we're going to do what's called a half pretzel. We're going to start with the lady in a hammerlock, or a behinder. A behinder. Gentlemen, you're going to take that hand up over the top of your head. You're going to take it up over the top of your head, and you're going to turn underneath it. And when you do, you're going to take your left hand and drop it straight down. As it comes over the top of your head, you're going to push out over the top of her head. And what you've done is you've gone from a behinder on her to a behinder on you. All right? You're going to bring the hand across in front. You're going to lead with your elbow. In other words, don't pull with your hand. It doesn't work. You lead with your elbow up over the top of your head. Okay? You relax the hand behind your back. You drop it down, and you push. I bet you're wondering what it looks like when you do it full speed. It looks like this. It goes over and back. Over and back. You're doing a little figure eight over the top of the head. Whoops. And back. Over and back. All right? And it's called a half pretzel. A half pretzel. You go from a follower pretzel to a leader pretzel without ever going. Behinders. They're behinders. So again, one more time. With the hand behind the lady, you're going to bring the hand up over the top of the head. Relax this hand behind. Okay? Relax the arm so that it can come up behind your back. In the meantime, you're going to take this hand out with your fingers pointed out over the top of the head. Around, you're going to bring the elbow through over the top of your head and push out. And you should be right back. A figure eight. Over and back. Over and back. All right, let's try it one more time from this side. You can do it with either hand, either direction. It works both ways. So one more time. The lead here, gentlemen, is to get the hand over the top of your head and push out. Here's what most guys do when they have a problem. They'll bring it over their head and they'll push straight up. And the girl doesn't know where she's supposed to go. All right, you want to come over the head and push out. Okay, you got to straighten this elbow out, otherwise you'll bonk her in the back of the head. You bring it through, lead with the elbow, come over your head and push out. Through and push out. Through and push out. And you completed a half pretzel. So here's a look at all three together in a sequence. And from there, we'll take a break and let you practice it, and we'll be back with some more in just a minute. So here's the run through. Starting with a one-handed behinder. Okay, I'll use my left, though you can use it with either. Okay, one-handed behinder, here to a duck. Catch, we're going to roll underneath for a rolling behinder duck. And from there, I'm going to change back over and do a half pretzel. A half pretzel. Around. Oh, I know what I forgot. I was going to show you how to do a straitjacket wrap out of that as a good combination out. I didn't forget. Honest, I didn't. We talked about this move in the beginning tape also. Straitjacket wrap, not real comfortable for the ladies, but kind of a neat way to get through it. If you want to get out of it, a neat way to get out of straitjacket is to stop your rotation, push her back out, shoot her through the other side, and out. So that from a half pretzel, it would look like this. We're going to go push out, push out. Now, as I come back and push over her head, I'm going to continue around to wrap it. Now, from here, we're going to be doing a wheel. This isn't a real comfortable wheel. It's really not. You stop your rotation, let her slide out, and shoot her back through underneath the arm. And if that's not enough, we'll give them their money's worth. Okay? We went from here, okay, in a behinder or a hammerlock, whatever you like. We did the half pretzel. We pushed out. This time, as I go over her head, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to rotate through. I'm going to duck her out underneath. And now, oops, hi. And now when she comes back, she's in a wrap. It may be a straitjacket wrap, but it is a wrap. Now I'm going to do a wrap to wrap pivot. And around. We talked about the wrap to wrap pivot earlier. So the whole sequence would look like this. It would be half pretzel, straitjacket wrap, duck underneath, wrap to wrap pivot, and out. That ought to be a challenge. Give that a try, and we got more coming up in just a second. Okay, now I have a question for you. Did you notice that in that last sequence that we ran through, we did a movement that we didn't explain? Primarily the straitjacket wrap to a tunnel back and out. Well, if we kind of went through that fast, that's because we taught that on the other tape, in our beginner intermediate tape. There are quite a few other moves and a lot of basic on that particular tape, and if you're interested, that is certainly available. The other thing that you might have noticed is that we just tacked that move right on the end. And the thing that I want to explain about the way that we teach is that we're going to teach you the movements as we run through them, and then we're going to give you some suggestions on how to tie them together. But when it comes right down to creating your own routine, you're the one that chooses how to put them together. We're just giving you some ideas rather than give you a set routine that you're going to do every time. So with that, we're going to move on. We're getting a little more difficult, in case you didn't notice, as we run through. Right now, we're going to do a move called a roller coaster. Called a roller coaster. And let me show you what it looks like. As we go through, it's going to be cross chest for the lady, direction change, hand change, direction change, hand change. That's one full roller coaster. Now, if we can do it on the same beat, we'll be okay. So that it looks like this. We're going to go direction change, hand change, direction change, hand change, direction change, hand change, direction change, hand change. Okay, that's what a roller coaster looks like. As we go through, it's really tricky with the footwork. You need to refer back to the tape as to what we're doing with our feet. We're really not changing feet. As we go through, you're going to go cross chest and over the top of the lady's head. As it comes through, gentlemen, you're going to roll your palm up, lead with your elbow, come over the top of your head, and as you do, as you turn around, you're going to push out over the top of her head. Very similar to a half pretzel. Now you're going to reach back behind with your right hand. You're going to change hands behind the back, over the top of the head, and as it comes through, you're going to roll your wrist up, your palm up, over the top of the head, push out, change hands behind the back, and over the top. If you count your spins, it's 2 spins one direction, 2 spins the other direction. And you're either changing directions or you're changing hands, one or the other. So here we go. We'll take it through slow. Again, I'm doing it with the left. I'm starting with the left. It's just as easy to do it with the right, or just as hard, however you want to look at it. As you go through, I'll do it with the other hand. You're going to go cross chest, lead with the elbow, palm up, push out, change hands behind the back, over the top of her head, palm up, lead with the elbow, push out, change hands, and you're back. One full roller coaster. Okay, that time I did it with the right. I don't mean to confuse you, but I want you to know that there's a mirrored move for everything. Okay, last time, let's give it just a little bit of different perspective this time, and we'll do it one last time on a roller coaster. By the way, you're going, every time you change hands, you're going from what we call an open or a neutral position into a cross hand position, right to right, left to left. So as we go through, we're going to start cross chest, palm up, elbow across, push. Reach behind, change hands, over the top, rotate the wrist up, over the head, push, change hands behind the back, and around. One final thing. On the hand change, one of the most common mistakes that we have is that as you come around and you push, a lot of gentlemen will leave the hand down here and try and throw the lady's hand from here to there. That time it worked, I'm surprised, okay? But you can't throw one hand into the other. What you need to do is you need to exchange one right into the next and over the top. The trick is to try to make it nice and smooth and flowing as you go through. So one more time, full speed, and then we'll move on. Cross chest, push, change hands, change directions, change hands, change directions, change hands, change directions, change hands, change directions as you go through. All right, call a roller coaster. Now, when you come out of that roller coaster, and we're going to show you how to come out so that you're going to come out in cross hand position. Right here, you're going to change hands. As soon as I change hands, I'm in cross hand position. Okay? Right here. So, I change back. I'm in neutral position. I change back. I'm in cross hand position. And I'm going to keep going into a cross hand wrap. A cross hand wrap. Gentlemen, incidentally, ladies don't like this move either, particularly. It's not real comfortable for them. It's not that they don't like it, it's just that they don't want you to stay in it forever. Okay? It's not particularly comfortable as we go through. From there, we're going to show you how to do a rolling duck, which is a rolling wrap, which is that. How to get out of it. Kind of a duck from that wrap. So, if we took that roller coaster and went cross chest, pushed out, changed hands behind the back, okay? Now, as you take this hand up, she's got some momentum. She's got momentum that's turning. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring that hand through and keep it down low, okay? And she's going to wrap. Special attention to the way I've got my hand. Notice that we're hanging on with fingertips. I've extended my hand so that my palm is open across her back. What that does is it adds that much to your grip, which you really need for this kind of move. If I'm hanging on to her, she'll never get, even though I've got long arms, she never gets all the way around. You want to extend that arm so that we can actually go shoulder to shoulder for this wrap. Okay? You can wheel around like so. To get out, there's a couple of different ways. An easy way is to lift the hand and let her out, and you're in cross hand. But as we come through, we're in cross hand wrap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hand and place it right on the shoulder. Right on the shoulder. I've got my fingers hooked here, but my palm is also going to come on the shoulder. I want that for stability. Okay? And I'm going to lift my elbow. I'm going to pull her through, and I'm going to duck her underneath. Okay, as she comes out, I'm going to roll the wrist, and we continue into a cross hand behind her, or cross hand hammerlock. So, again, we were here. I bring my left hand. You can do it to the other side, but in this case, I bring my left hand in. I rotate her shoulders, get both elbows up high. I let go of the left hand, and I roll the right hand down. And there we are. All right, here's a look at the whole sequence, and then we'll give you a chance to work on it on your own. We're going to do a roller coaster with a hand change. We need to do it on the same beat. Okay. With a hand change, hand change, hand change, and keep it on going. You're going to wheel through. When you're ready, gentlemen are going to stop, or at least slow the momentum down, and roll out, a rolling wrap. Give that a try and see how you do. We've got some more cross-hand moves coming up in just a minute. All right, we just showed you some movement that would take you from a neutral position into a cross-hand position. A roller coaster and a cross-hand wrap. And in this position, being cross-hand, right to right, left to left, we have several options as to what we can do from here. Many of them, again, I'm not sure if you have ever seen before, but they've been very common around here for quite some time. The one I would like to show you right now is a variation of the roller coaster. Not to be confused with the roller coaster, we call it around the world. I've also heard people refer to it as the corkscrew. So that'll be obvious as to the name in just a second. We're going to take the hand that's in front of us over the top of the lady's head for a full rotation. As she turns, we're going to come down, change hands behind the back, and up over the top of the head. Then we're going to change hands over the top of the head, change hands behind the back. Let me show you what it looks like. From a cross-hand position, any way you want to start it, but cross-hand position, right to right. I'm going to take my left hand. Again, you can do it to the other side. Don't mean to be confusing, but I want to make sure you know that this isn't the only way to do it. Okay, left hand goes up. We're going to take her into a turn, change hands behind, change hands over the top, change hands behind, over the top, behind, and over the top, and it's usually right about now that the girl falls over. And her eyes roll back, and you have problems. So be careful with that particular move. But as we go through, let me again explain to it. Around the world or corkscrew, whichever you prefer. Around here, it's known as around the world. We take the hand up for a turn over the top of the head. Okay, one turn to get some momentum going. I'm going to bring the hand down behind the back and come up cross chest. Now if you look, now we're in neutral position. But I keep it up over the top of her head. And as she spins around, I'm going to reach up, and as her hand comes through, I'm just going to drop the other hand right in. Change hands behind the back. As her palm comes around, I'm going to set my fingers right in there. Change behind. Change over the top and down. Okay, you can come out in cross hand. You can come out in neutral position, whichever that you choose. So again, that move is called an around the world or corkscrew. You dizzy yet? Okay. Go the other way, she says. Unwind her. Well, here's what we're going to do. Two other moves that are very popular here out of cross hand position. One we call a double duck, for lack of a better name. But as you go through, you're going to go cross chest, roll the wrists for a duck, and as she comes through, we're going to change hands behind our back and do a second duck. And when we come out, we're back in neutral position, and behind her. Called a double duck. Can be kind of tricky. That your proximity, your spacing between you and your partner makes a big difference here. So as we go through, we're going to go cross chest with our cross hand, which is right to right. You're going to roll the wrist down, and as she comes through, you're going to raise the arm up on the back, which indicates a duck. As she ducks, as soon as her shoulder clears, I turn my back to her. I turn my back to her. As she comes through, I'm going to change hands behind my back, right here. Change hands behind my back, and get the elbow up nice and high so that we come out into a behind her, hammerlock. Okay? Again, let's change sides and do it again. Cross hand, in this case right to right. We're going to go cross chest, roll the wrist, lift the elbow, change hands, lift the elbow. Okay, I'm not doing the footwork right now, but I'm showing the upper body. All right, one more time with the footwork. Cross chest, Roll the wrist, change hands, and up. A double duck sequence. Again, ladies, we're not doing a flat back on that particular one. You can if you like, but a word of caution on that. In order to make this work, in order to get the hand change, okay, as she ducks, guys, I actually have to move into her a little bit to catch the hand and then move away as we come through. And if you're in a flat back, sometimes you can't always get that close. That's one of the reasons that we do the duck the way we do, with the lady that turning her head and looking as she comes through. Helps for balance, and you can also get a little bit closer as you go through. So a hand change behind. From there, we're going to do a duck and reach sequence. A duck and reach sequence. This particular move is probably the only one of the whole bunch that I've shown you on this tape and the previous tape that I think that I can honestly say I made up. It was quite by accident. It's called turning the wrong direction at the wrong time. We wanted to do the double duck, but forgot to change hands behind the back. And this is what happens. This is what it became. It's a duck, but without a hand change. Without a hand change. And as we come up, we're going to reach over the top and down. This works real well in waltz also. All right. From here, you spin out and catch. So a duck and reach would look like this. Cross chest, duck, and reach. All right. This one's a little trickier. This one I better explain in a lot of detail for you. As you go through, you roll the wrist. This is identical to the double duck. As she comes through, here's the trick. Okay? If I'm out here, if I'm out away from her, and we turn, there isn't enough arm, and you end up, you can't get around. You have to be real close to each other. You have to be real close. And you have to watch out for this. Got her. Let's do that again. No, you want to watch out for that as you come through. And you're going to arch your back and reach over the top and down. So again, let's do it from the other side. The idea here is that as she goes through the duck, gentlemen, you have to give her enough room to get underneath. But as soon as she does, you need to move in and down. It's very natural to be knocking each other off balance for a while until you get the hang of it. Reach across in front, okay? And I just realized I'll show you another way out of this in a second. But from here, we're going to release the hand that's between us. We're going to pull on the hips, and we're going to free spin out. And we can catch cross hand or neutral, whatever we like. So again, one more time on the duck and the reach. Looks like this. Okay. Spin out and catch. If you want to tie it, here's one more option to just run things together. If you do a duck and reach to an arch, so that it looks like this. Duck, reach, and arch over the top. Then you have a hand that you can spin out. So a duck to a reach to an arch. So a quick review of what we just did. As we came back, we had done a roller coaster earlier, and we ended up in a rolling wrap, cross hand rolling wrap to here. And as we came out, we started with around the world, which is a hand change above, hand change below. Use caution because she'll get dizzy as all get out. Okay, we're still cross hand. Now I'm going to go cross chest for a double duck, behind the back, change hands, and around. And when you come out of a double duck, you're back in neutral position. So if you want to go into another cross hand position, obviously you're going to have to change. And last but not least, if you didn't want to go into that double duck, you could have gone into a duck and reach with a spin out. Okay? Or you could have gone to a duck and reach and arch and turn out. All right? Give those a try. All right, we're going to wrap this tape up with one final move. But before I do, I want to give you just a brief explanation of some of the other things, other dance styles that occur here in Arizona. No doubt if you came down to Phoenix, you would see an awful lot of people doing a pony swing. It's been popular here for a long time. As I've possibly mentioned to you before or mentioned on the other tape, I've been doing this dance for about 12 years. I learned it from a group of people that learned it from Dan Gall, Dancin' Dan out of Tucson, and have done it for years. And it is very, very popular in this particular area. There's another dance that's just been incorporated into the national dance competition rules, and that's the Arizona rhythm two-step. And a lot of people confuse the two, and I just want to specify something. I'm going to step back and show you that a rhythm two-step is very similar to a two-step that everyone else in the country does, in that it is quick, quick, slow, slow. Obviously, instead of stepping forward on the slows or all progressive, we have kind of a rhythm styling down in the hips. Quick, quick, slow, slow. Well, the other difference is that in a rhythm two-step, you can extend the pattern to put in different movements, which means that if I'm going to extend the pattern, I'm going to go quick, 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 slow. And I screwed that up, but that's okay. Quick, quick, slow, slow. We're going to extend it by doing quicks, or step together, step together. And here's the confusion. This is where the confusion comes in. As I do it, if I take a movement and run an extended pattern full of step together, step together, step together while I'm turning the lady, what does the footwork look like? It looks like pony swing. So very often, a lot of people have said, well, your two-step looks a lot like your pony swing, and that's why. The rhythm two-step allows you to extend the pattern out, and some people take it to the point where they have extended it so far that they actually make it look like a pony swing. But as we said, that's about the rhythm two-step, and if you come down to Phoenix or you come down to Arizona, you're going to see an awful lot of pony swing and an awful lot of rhythm two-step. But let's go ahead and wrap this tape up. I'm going to get Pam, and we're going to show you a move that has been popular for several years around the country. We've done it for years here, called a washing machine. It's currently being used in waltz and two-step, and I believe they call it a waterfall. But we're going to show you how to style it in a pony swing. A word of caution, this is a tough move. It's tough to style. It's tough to get to the right speed. It's extra tough when you wear a cowboy hat. Normally I would wear one, but today for the taping I chose not to. Let's go ahead and get into it again. It also goes by the name of waterfall, but this is what we call a washing machine. It's a four-part move, and we start by going cross chest for the lady and over onto the shoulder for one. Bring the hand up from underneath and put it on your gentleman's shoulder for two. Take it over the top and on the shoulder for three. Bring the hand over the guy's head and down back to the starting position for four. So it goes shoulder for one, guy's shoulder for two, across the guy in front for three, hand goes up and through the middle on four. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want out, you just release the hand. Again, it's called a washing machine. Let's do it to the other side. So again, you can do it either way. I'm just doing it to the left. We're going to the shoulder for one, gentleman's shoulder for two, over the top of the head for three, hand comes up and back down for four. All right, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's where the styling becomes difficult. When you start going real fast, you end up throwing both hands over the top. You end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not the way you want the move to look. For this particular movement, you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. Again, you can do it to the other side, but you want to watch out for that. Again, the hat presents a problem. What I found in the past is the trick is to get close enough, don't get apart from the lady when you bring the hand over. Okay, and this hand, as I bring it up, if I was looking at you guys, if you want to avoid that hat, you've got to get this hand up and over before you catch the brim right here on the side. So one last time, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just bring the hand down to stop. Hope that you enjoyed the tape. Again, our address and phone number is on the end. If you have any questions about what we've done or would like any additional information, by all means, give us a line, drop us a line, and thank you very much for purchasing our tape.
Woke up this morning, happy as could be. I looked out my window, what's that I see? Coming up the sidewalk, just as plain as day. Well, here comes trouble that I never thought I'd see since you went away. Hello, trouble, come on in. Well, you talk about heartache, where in the world you been? Ain't had the misery since you've been gone. Well, hello, trouble, 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 welcome home. We'll make a pot of coffee, and you can rest your shoes, and you can tell me them sweet lies, and I'll listen to you. Well, it's just a little part of the life we've lived. Although I'd rather have a little bit of trouble than to never know the love you give. Hello, trouble, come on in. Will you talk about heartache? Where in the world you been? Ain't had the misery since you've been gone. Well, hello, trouble, 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 welcome home. Hello, trouble, 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 welcome home.
When I know the feeling's gone, 'cause I've got my pride. Lord knows I tried, so I'm hitching a ride with crazy love. With that crazy love. Standing on the roadside just outside